Well, kia ora. My name is Janice Kuka. I'm from New Zealand, Tauranga, and I am the Managing Director of a Māori health organisation, which we do myriad of deliver health services, but we're more the back office to a membership, very similar to what occurs here, and it's certainly it's a position I enjoy, and yeah.
And can you tell us what you're doing here in Brisbane, Meanjin?
We've been invited, I was invited. We met Matthew and some of his senior management were over in New Zealand visiting, and they came to visit us, they had a site visit to us, and then 6 months later we get an invitation to come to speak. And the theme was the changing political environment and how we navigate that. And that's something that perhaps I'm more familiar with, because I've been involved in a running court case through the Waitangi Tribunal with the government. We're always taking them on and challenging them, and this is probably about 15 years of it, nearly coming up to 20 probably, more like that. But at the moment for Māori, we're going through a rather difficult time, the government. We have, I think, one of the most racist governments that we've ever encountered in a very long time. We've got a coalition of 3 parties, so that makes it even harder to pin where this really anti-Māori is coming from. We've found the effects anyway over the last 18 months, that as soon as they came into government, they were determined to start unravelling anything that in their minds was race-based. And the first to go in their first 100 days in government was the disestablishment of a Māori Health Authority, which we fought so hard for and got through through the Labour government. But as soon as this new government came in, they just pulled it, disappeared overnight basically. So what we have then is then the slow unravelling of Treaty of Waitangi clause, which is something we really believe in, and that protects us. It gives us a constitutional right, which it should. But we're seeing this government starting to pick and unravel at that, and it's still going, even though we see the majority of Māori object to it, and indeed I would say a big majority of Pākehā or New Zealanders are not happy with it, because I think they see that the treaty is now incorporated in part of our society, and for the young New Zealanders it's nothing to fear. In actual fact, it's becoming something of pride. But obviously Māori culture is a threat to big businesses, to corporations, to government to an extent, because as we get stronger politically, that becomes a threat. So I think it's just been like the perfect storm that has come together and has threatened us for the first time. But you know, we've been here a long time, like our Aboriginal cousins. We will see it through. We just got to keep being very focused, singly focused on our people, and keep challenging the government, calling them out on their behaviour, even though we don't think there's any change. There is an effect. And I like to think that this is only an anomaly in the long term, that they will go and we will right itself again and move on.
Does that mean a waiting game now for things like the Māori Health Authority? Because as you said, it was only in for I think a year before it was disestablished. Mm-hmm. Do you have to move on from that?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I think I said that in my last speech, that you cannot go back. Nothing. You cannot reverse momentum. You have to keep moving. So we had that for a little while. We saw in having our own commissioning to an extent, Māori Health Commissioning, what is possible. And so we then take what we learned in that short time and we say, no, we're not satisfied to just be here. We want to be way over there. And so, as I said yesterday in my delivery, our starting point is where we would have been, and then we start from there. Not from where we were stopped. The starting point is where would we have been if we had had the full potential of a Māori commissioning. We would have been so far down the track and we would have started to address Māori health and close the gaps, and inequalities gap. And when we do settle again, our negotiation with government will be that's a starting point and not back there.
And can I ask you, just in practical terms, how do you do that? Like you said yesterday, like you start where you wanted to be in 10
Yes.
years. What would be an example of that?
Well, when I was interviewed not long after, because we only had the last court case last week, and I was interviewed after I delivered that speech about where we will be. She said, "Now, Janice, is that not unrealistic? Could you not see the people? It would not be acceptable. That is too far ahead." I said, "Well, what is unrealistic to you is our future." And it always has to be, because 10 years ago we would not have thought we would have had an opportunity to have our own funding authority. So it's all about perspective. So when you tell your people, no, that's not where we want to be, I think it's then visualising your future and making that a reality, not what is unrealistic. Because what we want is always going to be unrealistic to non-Indigenous. But what is realistic to us is our future. So it's about reframing what do you want and not what they think is real or unreal. And that's my starting point.
Fantastic. Any reflections on the conference here?
Wonderful. I was asked, what is your takeaway? And to me, it's the people. They've been just wonderful. Meeting individuals and just talking to them, and them coming up to talk to me about their concerns and sharing our stories. And they're so similar. I felt like singing that song. It's an old song, and it always comes every time. Singing my life with his words, singing it. It's just lovely. It's just,
Roberta Flack.
That song is, it's like we were just, I don't know, we were singing to each other the same song, and the pain and the heartache, but still the energy and the love and the excitement still there. So my takeaway, wonderful people, and another takeaway, I think, we talked about we need to form some kind of coalition of Indigenous people, get together, maybe yearly basis, support each other politically, talk politically, how we can move forward together. So that's another thing. People and a great sense of coming together as two peoples to plan ahead for ourselves. We're going to be stronger, we're going to be global.
Thank you. Anything else you would like to say?
No, I'd just like to thank the wonderful Aboriginal people and the host here. It's just been marvellous.
Thank you for giving us the time to talk. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.